So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase off those areas on the collage, and again I'm just using the white eraser here. Any eraser will do though, as long as you're very careful. These are my collaged sections of the portrait profile, and I just got a little bit careless with the glue. So, and next time I will remember to be a little bit more careful with the glue so that I don't get any glue on the top here. But as you can see, those can disappear. They can easily be erased off with the white eraser. And if I really wanted to make sure that I get everything off, I would use a different eraser. This is an eraser that has a little bit of grit or sand in it. And if you're very, very careful with that eraser, you can get most of it off. Just get some of this off too. Again, you want to just have good art practice. Get into the practice of presenting your image as if it was worth something. As it is worth something, because you spent all of your time and energy for the last 2 classes creating an image that's really fantastic. You learned how to draw in a side profile, and then you took it a step further. You learned how to add color to it. You learned a little bit about the planes of the face and how to reconstruct the picture using shapes, geometric shapes. So that's what we learned for our class, and you want to make sure you show that off, and you want it to look good on your wall or when you present it to someone else, or just as a collection of your artwork. You want it to look good. So just do a good job at the end part. I don't often talk about this in my classes, but this is really important in terms of like how you present your work and how your work looks, how neat it is, and how careful it appears that you were with the materials. So again, just erasing off any pencil that you see, any extra line that was not supposed to be there. If you have any areas where you've done a collage and that collage is lifting up or it wasn't glued down properly, you're going to go ahead and erase off those areas as well. So again, I have cut out this image out of the manila paper that we had there. Just wanted to show you that difference again so you can see how dramatic that is, right? So we cut this out of here carefully. You notice I can put all those pieces back in there too because I was trying to be super careful. So all those got cut out, cut away. And then of course we're going to choose a brighter color paper and we're going to glue it down. And I do want you to keep this in mind, sisters, as you're working. Make sure that you move this so that you have a good amount of negative space on the front of the image versus the back, okay? So we don't want the face to look like it's about to come off of the page like this. You see that? That would be too much negative space on the back of this profile, of this portrait. So you're going to move it over just a little bit so that you have more space on the front of this image than you do on the back of the image. Okay, so just keep that in mind as a general rule. We want more space here than we do here for a portrait. So keep that in mind. Once you have it where you want to have it, just keep in mind where it is. If you need to make a little mark or anything on this piece of paper before you glue it down, go ahead and make a little mark. You see, I'm just going to make a little mark back here and a little mark here so that I know where it is. So those are my marks there. And then, just like we did on the other paper, just take another scrap paper, because we don't want glue on our paper either, or on our table. So just take another scrap paper and then go ahead and use some glue. I think just the Elmer's glue is probably going to be fine for this. If we were doing something really, really that we want to last a really long time, we would use a different kind of glue. They make special glue just for paper that's archival, and that's the glue we want. But this should be just fine for this. And then you're going to glue everywhere. Make sure you glue the edges. It's really important when you're gluing things to glue the edges down. Hopefully, Amazulu, can you hear me? Make sure you glue your edges down. If you're cutting it out and adding it to another sheet of paper, you want your edges to stay down. Usually we don't put enough glue along the edges of our image, and it ends up creeping up or sticking up in one place or another. So just go ahead and if you glue your edges once, go back over it with the glue stick or whatever glue that you have, clear glue, and go ahead and do the edges. I don't like to touch the image, so I just like to put my finger in one place and then glue around it. If you want, you could do that too. Or you can use a pencil or something to hold down your image while you're gluing on, if you don't like the feeling of glue on your fingers. So just go ahead and do that. Again, I'm going to glue the edges one more time. And then again, remember I said being careful with your image. See how it slid there a little bit? That's how I got glue on it the first time. So just keep that in mind as you're working on it. And move that extra paper out of the way. You can see all the extra glue on there, yeah? And then I'm going to just flip this over, and before I do that, I'm going to look at where the points are. You are going to get glue on your hands if you do this. Just keep that in mind. Just line up the bottom of this first, and then glue it down, and then we're done. We want to smooth this out too, so I just have an extra sheet of paper. I do have glue on my hands, so I don't want to smooth it out with my hands right now. I'm just going to use a separate sheet of paper. Maybe we fold that into a little bit, and then very carefully press it down. Don't be too rough with your paper here as you're pressing it into the paper underneath, or gluing it down, because that can actually ruin your drawing, right? We worked a long time on this. We don't want to ruin it, so you're just going to be very careful with it. Scrap paper, any paper that does not have glue on it, you can fold it and then press down, especially at the edges, right? Notice that I'm working away, working outside, not coming in, because I want to make sure that I get rid of any bubbles or any air that might be trapped underneath, and I want to just go outward. I don't know if you've ever put on a screen protector on a phone, but it's the same idea. You want to work the bubble and the air out and the wrinkles out of the paper so that it goes on flat. You don't want to lift up your paper from whatever it's on top of. So just do that very carefully, and if you see any areas that are pressed up, just go ahead and press those down, and then we're done. There's our Derrick Adams inspired portrait. And yeah, that's a wrap. So I hope you all enjoyed doing that. We have about 15 minutes left in class. Anybody have any questions about what to do next, or have any problems with their image? None? Great. Awesome. We did a really good job. Definitely try and display it. And somewhere on here, just go ahead and write your initials or whatever. You know, just a small pen. You can just put it here. I'm going to put my initials are MB. And of course, you can put 2020 if you want. I'm just going to put a 20 there. Just get into the practice of signing your artwork as well. There it is. And if you can do that, that'd be great. And then, of course, display your artwork. I'm going to put my artwork, after I'm done with it, of course, I'm going to put it up on the wall behind me, so we could just keep track of all of the assignments and the art projects that we have done throughout the year, and so that you can remind yourself of all the things that we've been learning as well. I'm going to put it up here. If I had your work, I would definitely hang it up instead of mine. All I have is my daughter's work here, so my son's work. Both of them attend Wilson Baker, so I'm going to make sure that I have their work up as well, if they will allow me to do so. And then, yeah, so put your work up somewhere, or just save it next to you. Okay? Alright, I'm going to switch screens now.